Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Welcome to Right and Wrong. This is the show where we try to wake up the woke by talking common sense about the issues of the day. I'm your host, Brian Ruka, and with me, as always, over there is my man and yours, producer Juice. He is known out there on the interwebs as the Truth Box because he just loves to speak the truth all day, every day. My man, Truth Box, what is going on tonight, brother? How you holding up?
I'm holding up. Dude, did you get a new camera?
No.
Since last? Oh, it looks crisp.
No, obviously. It
looks
crisp.
crispy, though, yeah.
I thought it was like dark. I feel like
Must have
Maine
just-
in here, born in the darkness.
You merely adopted it, right?
Yes, sir. Well done.
No, if I'm a couple weeks off, feeling good. A lot to get to that we can't totally cover, but excited to get after it.
We're getting chirped about not recording as often and stuff. We're getting stuff on the text message chain. And, you know, I simply responded that I think it's appropriate with it being Black History Month that we maybe go easy on the episodes, you know, where lowercase w white instead of a capital letter B, you know, during the most historic month of, you know, Black history. So that's just the excuse for being a little bit lazy during vacation week, getting hit with a stomach bug.
I had some
maybe,
family down here.
you know, all that type of stuff. You know, we live lives, people. Right, Juice?
Yep.
But,
Loaded up.
you know, we'll stick with the Black History Month thing. Along those lines, though, the same person who happened to be chirping at us just really did go, and I think we should honor and give him a little bit of a shout out. This is our boy Bass.
Yeah.
He likes to chirp us. We like to chirp him left and right, but the kid just went on a mission trip to I think it was like Venezuela or Peru, Guatemala.
Literally doing the Lord's work. Bass
Lord's
there.
work.
Yeah, actually doing it too. Like,
Yeah.
you know how they say that's a saying, right? Oh, it's doing
do
the Lord's work when it's like
Yep.
something that's not really.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
You know, just putting in a little extra time.
Absolutely.
But, no, yeah, literally saving babies, building houses.
This kid taking vacation time of his own, spending his own money to go feed the sick, build homes for those in need, and just genuinely doing something, putting it his mouth where his money is. His money where his mouth is. What's that?
Yeah, money where his mouth is. Yeah, he gets us.
He does. Yeah. He does. So that man, amen to you, Bass. Great job. Keep up the good work. And, you know, for someone who's younger than me, it's kind of weird to say I'm looking up to you as a role model to me these days. So great job. And thank you for your service, sir. All right. You think we should stop the grab assing and get into the episode, Juice?
Yeah, let's roll. Let's do it. Tighten this up.
Awesome.
Enough Bass, like, right?
Yeah.
Insisting
that was
on
like, that's as nice as I'm going to be to this kid in the whole year.
Insisting, right? Or whatever that is.
Yeah. We're going to have to come back hard next week, getting on him for something.
Yeah. All right. Take it away.
All right. Now, I often talk about noticing those little signs that God sends to us throughout our lives. Personally, I get stuck wondering if they're, you know, really signs from God or if they are things that I'm forcing a connection to. Or am I just seeing these signs more now that I'm actually on the lookout for them? At the end of the day, I guess it doesn't really matter because God is at the heart of it all. He's woken me up enough to be on the lookout for the signs that he sends to me, letting me know that he's there and that he's listening to me. I had another one of these occasions a few weeks ago, and every time it happens to me, I find myself constantly thinking about it afterwards. Then, as you guys are all well aware now, I bring it here to the show and tell you guys about it. Now, in this group chat that I'm in, the topic of Kendrick Lamar and the Super Bowl halftime show came up. Now, I let it be known that I had no interest in watching it, and my buddy Fran commented about how far I've come since those days of being all geeked up about Justin Timberlake, Janet Jackson, and that infamous Nipplegate incident. I responded to him jokingly saying, I once was a fisherman. Now I'm a fisher of men. He laughed and he told me that it was a perfect comment considering the gospel reading of the day. Sure enough, at church, we got to hear the story of Jesus meeting Simon Peter, James, and John. That's when Jesus tells those fishermen to come with him, and he'll make them fishers of men. And the rest, as they say, is history. Now, back to the original point here. Why do things like this happen to us? I think most people would shrug and chalk this up as a mere coincidence. But what is a coincidence? So let's go to the old Google definition to find out. It says, a coincidence is when two or more events happen at the same time, but there's no clear reason why they happened together. I think the key part of that definition is in the second part where it says no clear reason why they happened together. The problem for most people is they've become blinded from God in this secular world. Our society has fallen so far away from God that we fail to see his clear and obvious messages when they're right there in front of our eyes. We all know that famous line about the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he doesn't exist. I'd like to expand that to also include convincing the world that God doesn't exist either. We live in a modern, decadent world where most people have made gods of themselves. We've forgotten that there was a reason why, the old cartoons used to have the mini devil, mini angel show up on a character's shoulders when they faced a dilemma. The fact of the matter is that there are good and bad choices to make. Rights and wrongs, if you will. And God talks to us and works with us through signs and messages. It's our jobs to be on the lookout for God instead of brushing off his presence as a simple coincidence. 5 years ago, I would have chalked up that conversation from my group chat as just another coincidence. Today, I thank God that I know him enough to see when he speaks to me. And with that being said, I do believe it's time to welcome in our good friend, Mr. Ric Flair, because it is showtime, baby. Woo!
Showtime! Woo! Woo!
Woo! Oh, yeah. Woo! That a boy, Juice. You notice those signs, right?
Always. I'll ask for them. I'll make them do it again, kind of like when I get an answer, I don't, you know what I mean? Like shake the 8-ball again. Signs are hazy. Like I'll ask them a question, being like, "Am I doing this right or that?" You know what I mean? Clear answer in your face. Kind of like, all right, well, if that's true, show me that one more time. If that's really your will. And I'll go with it, just double checking because people talk of coincidence.
Hey, just making sure we're on the same page here.
Because God, Oxford Dictionary defines coincidences as
oh, it's awesome. Oh, I love it. Good stuff. Well, Juice, I think the theme of this week's episode is going to be common sense, brother. And I love it. We mention it every week in the show here, right? And I think it basically sums up the Trump administration perfectly. We say that we're here to wake up the woke by talking common sense about the issues of the day. Now, I think the Trump administration is talking common sense about our government for the most part. And the thing that I like the most about his moves so far is that there seems to be no issue that's too big and no issue that's too small for him to focus on. Now, I'll start with one that sounds like a really small deal, but it sums up the government waste perfectly. Now, I'm talking about the post that Trump made a few weeks back about stopping the production of new pennies because it costs us about 3 to 4 cents to make 1 penny. Now, that's just ridiculous. How long do you think we've been doing this for? Like, am I wrong?
Yeah, like times how many cents, times how many years.
Exactly. This has been
How
going.
long?
Like,
Yeah.
when did it get to be more expensive to produce?
Yeah,
the
should
penny?
that have been like a meeting, right?
Yes.
Hey, these are costing more than
Yeah, an
you know.
emergency meeting, cabinet meeting.
Yeah.
These things are like getting out of
Okay.
control.
A penny
Like,
costs 3
wow.
cents. Let's get a
Are
meeting of
you
the minds.
kidding me?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Now, does anybody care about the stupid penny at all at this point? Now, me personally, Juice, I've been on an anti-change in general kick for a while now. So this is like music to my ears. Like, seriously, who likes change at all? Like, I can't stand
Yeah,
it.
I'm pro cash for like the anonymity of it. Not even if you're trying to just because, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah, the
they say that
principle of
because they
it.
want to track you, so I don't
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to be
yeah.
tracked. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Like, so just out of spite. But yeah, let's
Yep.
smallest denomination is $1 or
Yeah,
something.
absolutely. Or even like, I
Around
don't
the world.
know. I haven't crunched the numbers. We're not facts and stats, guys, as we like to say here. But I'd even explore the possibility of making like 25 cents paper, like a paper
Yeah,
version of
I'd even
25
rip a
cents.
buck in half or something. Half for
Yeah,
you,
there we
right?
go. I think that would
One
work.
in one.
The old 1-in-1 system.
Yeah.
I love it. Now, this particular story, it stands out to me, um, practically, because it's really just about government stupidity. That's at the heart of it. And how many people have just kept their heads down along the way and gone along with this nonsense because it's just the way we've always done things. Like, gotta make X amount of pennies per year. Gotta make, like, just keep the factory line going. Put the stamp of approval on it from desk to desk to desk within the government, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's the way I picture this stuff.
And not only that, let's also like market now the quarters, right? Every state has to not
Yeah,
now.
yeah. The
I know this has
special
been like
quarters.
30 years ago, but
Yeah.
like try
Yeah,
to get people into change. Like
exactly.
we need more people coming back to change,
Get away from it.
Yeah.
What was that? That you're
Collecting
talking
coins.
30, 40 years ago when Kramer's walking down the street with the pants full of
Dude,
change.
the
They won't even let him
collecting
buy the
coins,
calzones with it.
it will help the coin collection market, right? Less
True.
population,
True.
not having to worry getting the new age stuff mixed in with the
I got
antique.
a 2024 penny, last
Yeah.
minted year.
Yeah.
Right?
And you don't have to worry about the new stuff, right?
True.
Oh, is that no?
Great
Just
point.
the 2025.
Great point.
Very important stuff.
So this was like it, and it seems like something ridiculous. You see the tweet and you even like laugh about it, like, oh, look at this from Trump. Like, but it sums up this entire thing in a nutshell for us. And it's perfect. And that's the stuff that Doge is working on. It's like, let's clear stupidity from the government. I don't want to
how did we get into these nutshells? Figure it out.
Yeah,
Right?
thank you. Absolutely. Let's figure it out.
Bring them in
out.
to see. Yeah. How did we get into these? And how do we get out of them?
And where do we go from here? And it's like the same thing of just basically the entire federal government is one gigantic antiquated system. And this is proof of it. And it speaks to the same type of thing. Like you heard about that mine where all the retirement paperwork has to go that Musk was talking about from a few weeks ago.
No,
Like
I didn't. I didn't. I would have one more point on the penny situation.
Oh, yeah. Keep up
Okay.
with the pennies, please.
What if, because the pennies take it 3 and 4 cents to make one, like making pennies 3 to 4 times smaller in size than what they currently are? Or is it not because of the material?
Ooh.
Or is it because of how much
maybe
the bureaucracy?
save on it that way? Is that what you're saying?
They just make even
Like,
smaller
I can make
change?
it. Oh, yeah, we can get the penny back to
1 penny.
Cent. Make this a penny for your thoughts.
Make them smaller. Now we're dealing with even smaller.
We got Johnson. We got Johnson down there. Came up with this brilliant idea. Let's just make them smaller.
Less copper or whatever they made out of.
That's incredible.
But no, I don't know about the thing you're saying.
So the other thing, and again, I don't want to get, try to have this planned out, and I'm already going off track here. But basically, if you were
on my notes, it says more penny banter.
More penny banter. We'll take
it said it on the show notes.
Show notes.
It says
I
it.
like the continued penny banter.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh shit.
no, this thing was basically if you retire from the government, it has to be on paper, physical paper, and then that paper then gets taken into an archive, which happens to be in a mine in Pennsylvania, like down below ground. They was tweeting out pictures of it, and it's like just rows of just the paperwork stacked and stacked and stacked. And Musk is like, we got people that go down into this mine for 8 hours a day, just stacking retirement paperwork. They
Coming up
cap
with
it.
paper cuts all over them, like
Yes.
soot, like ink that looks like they were in
Yes.
like a real mine.
Yes. Yeah, like from the newspapers, like right, the things.
I
that
know,
are on the
but dude,
theaters.
you'll be, and I know Musk is a brilliant technologist and everything, but
What are you saying with a crash?
I'm just like, what if something happened to all this stuff? It doesn't hurt to like we have backups. You know, we have cybersecurity, then we have backups
Sure.
and backups to the backups.
But I'm
Doesn't hurt to
sure
have a
that there's
paper
like
mine.
a.
I'm
sure
pro
there's
paper
an
mine.
easier way to do it, dude.
What? Then having
Pro
people
paper mine.
go like Harry Potter in
Yes.
the bank.
Yeah, it's
You know,
exactly what it's
Gringotts or
like.
whatever. They're on those.
I
train
know
carts.
about it, yes. But yes,
like train
that's
carts.
exactly what
You
it's
know, like Wizard of Oz.
Indy,
I mean,
Indiana Jones.
now the Seven Dwarfs. You know,
Yeah.
getting them.
Hi ho!
Going on
We got
these
another
carts.
retirement. Hi ho!
They
Oh, it's
don't
great.
work no more. Off
Give him
the
a
work
couple
we go.
pennies on his way out the door. Oh boy. Okay, so why don't we keep with this common sense theme here, Juice, and let's go to one of my new favorite members of the administration, Stephen Miller, and hear him, with a little bit of a common sense breakdown of how the executive branch works within our government. He's explaining this to the press pool. I think if you can pull that one up for us, Juice.
It is true that many of the people in this room for 4 years failed to cover the fact that Joe Biden was mentally incompetent and was not running the country. It is also true that many people in this room who have used this talking point that Elon is not elected fail to understand how government works. So I'm glad for the opportunity for a brief civics lesson. A president is elected by the whole American people. He's the only official in the entire government that is elected by the entire nation, right? Judges are appointed, members of Congress are elected at the district or state level, which is one man. And the Constitution, Article 2, has a clause known as the vesting clause, and it says the executive power shall be vested in a president, singular. The whole will of democracy is imbued into the elected president. That president then appoints staff to then impose that democratic will onto the government. The threat to democracy, indeed the existential threat to democracy, is the unelected bureaucracy of lifetime tenured civil servants who believe they answer to no one, who believe they can do whatever they want without consequence, who believe they can set their own agenda no matter what Americans vote for. So Americans vote for radical FBI reform, and FBI agents say they don't want to change. Or Americans vote for radical reform on our energy policies, but EPA bureaucrats say they don't want to change. Or Americans vote to end DEI, racist DEI policies, and lawyers at the Department of Justice say they don't want to change. What President Trump is doing is he is removing federal bureaucrats who are defying democracy by failing to implement his lawful orders, which are the will of the whole American people.
Standing ovation, right, Juice?
Mm-hmm.
That's phenomenal.
It was a great breakdown because like you know that until you like hear somebody explain it so well and succinctly. You're like,
Yep.
oh, maybe I didn't know that as tight as I thought.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
You gotta take it for
Just-
granted. Like, but anybody can learn for that one.
It's
Three,
beautiful.
3 or 4 pennies for your thoughts, sir.
Absolutely. And I love that he drops the old career bureaucrats. He calls them out for defying democracy because that's been their slogan for how long, right? Like we're protecting democracy here. Like, okay,
Yeah.
this is democracy at work,
Yeah.
people.
This is, and that's exactly it. It's like, hey, this is the one we all, not all agreed on, but we all voted on this person, but we
Yep.
all didn't get a chance to vote on all those other people. So the
Exactly.
one we did vote for can clean house on those ones.
Yep, exactly. Like,
there you
dude,
go.
we
That's
spent
what-
plenty of
well,
time. Lord knows we spent plenty of time on this show ripping people like Admiral Dick Levine, right? But did we ever say it was undemocratic to have him there? No, we just said it was stupid because he's clearly a delusional person.
Yeah,
We didn't
it
say it
makes
was
us look bad. It's not the
yeah,
right person for the job, but
yep,
not like this process is fraudulent.
exactly,
Bad
exactly.
choice, bad everything.
Yep,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah, of
But
course. But it wasn't Biden overstepping the power of the presidency by putting together his own cabinet. Like, of course you're allowed to do that. Of course you're allowed to staff the agency that you're in charge of. You're the executive in charge of the executive branch of the government. Like, it's pretty common sense, and it's great to hear Miller explain it so commonsensical and so, like, you know,
you're
easy to kind of follow where he went with it. Now, the administration continues to prove the point that the left is just full of crap with their slogans and their nonsense about the whole protecting democracy. It's never been about that. When the left says democracy, what they really mean is whatever we want. And we've known this for a long time. This is just more proof for us. Now, how about the beginning of that clip when he says that we've all known and been thinking for 4 years now, Biden was never in charge and never running the country. It was the unelected deep state running things for him. We've known that. You've known that. The people on his team, Biden's team, have known that. That's why they liked him. He was just happy to be along for the ride. He was happy to have the title of president without any of the responsibility to actually act as a president. He was able to sit back and you know, take the prestige that comes with the title, and everybody else did his work for him. He was that guy in the group project that never showed up, right? And then stood there with you when you guys had to present in the middle of class at the end.
like grabs the thank you slide. All right, thank you. And now we'll ask for some questions. And he hasn't said anything yet, right?
Yeah, exactly. He just mailed it in for 4 years.
Like his
It was
name's
brutal.
in a different font on the PowerPoint.
Yes.
Like when you're listing the team because he wasn't there, just added
Yep.
it in.
Yep, exactly. It was just juice. It was 4 years of him of being led around. Sign here, sir. Move over here, sir. Smile and wave, sir. And just Biden shuffling along, just happy
Bringing
to
them
be here.
out just
Jack.
to like show them you're alive still.
Exactly.
Let them take some pictures, grab an ice cream
Yep.
or two.
Yep. Smile. Put the glasses on, sir.
Let them touch you. Yeah, don't smell them, but
No.
let them pet you a
stand
bit.
there. Tell them that whole the story you always tell us. Remember? Did I ever tell you about that time back in Scranton, Pennsylvania, when my dad walked into a bathhouse and found two homosexual men going at it? And he turned to me and he said, "Joey, that's just love. Not a joke. Not a joke. That's just love." That's it. That's what the guy was doing for 4 years, Juice. That's it. But he was
Yeah, we
walking
have a
around.
lot of material about it.
Yes, we do. We do. Shuffling along, not knowing which way to go, not knowing whose hand to shake, not knowing which reporter to call on, right? They
Yeah.
say, I'm
Remember
supposed
his
to,
note card in the note card, and it's like,
supposed to go to
take your
Nancy.
seat, sit in your seat. Refer to the question, take a question, but not too many questions.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And
That was real.
that really happened. And we lived through it. And that was like our problem half the time too, is we complained about it. We called it out in real time. And now these jackasses are reaping what they sowed. They put themselves in this position. They tried to entrench their power through a puppet president like Biden. And now they have a real president coming in being like, you know what? I'm in charge. What's he say? What's that bit that when Jefferson finally wins in Hamilton, when he's like, "Oh yeah, remember that thing about the vice president being the man who came in second? Yeah, we could change that now because I'm the president." I know
Yeah,
it's
and
just a play and
they
stuff,
like
but
played it as, oh, return to normalcy, like prop him up and then be like, yeah, little do you know, we're running,
exactly.
pulling the strings in the
And
background.
you know what,
And
Juice?
then that's what
That
happens. That's
is a
why you
return to
get
normalcy.
another, and that's why you get another, like you go from Trump to, hey, we need this normal guy, but there's
Yep.
actually people pulling the strings behind it, to be like, all right,
Yep.
now we have to go. Now everybody goes Trump again. The people who couldn't
Yep.
stand him are like, okay, we're not following, that's why you get these
Exactly.
big swings, momentum swings
Exactly.
in
And
candidates.
it's crazy. And it's kind of ironic too that like we're laughing and kind of focusing on the changes that Trump's making here, and he's making some pretty drastic changes. Like he's completely reshaping the way that the federal government operates and works and moves. Like probably, biggest changes we've seen in 40, 50 years here. And I just find it kind of funny and ironic that the man who is considered like the almighty president from a few years back, Mr. Obama, that was his slogan, right? Change, change. But it really wasn't. It's a lot of the same, he was a deep state creation too, who got propped up into his spot and expanded the presidential powers through executive order. What do you say? Like, oh, I don't need the legislature as long as I have a pen and a desk. Like, I think he's something along those lines because he EO'd his way through everything, and it's just expanded and expanded. And he was the change guy, and I just think he was more big government bureaucracy. Let's enrich and empower these career bureaucrats because you know what? As much as they might have loved the guy, as great as a president as Obama was, and those were big air quotes for me, the man had a limited 8-year term. He was limited to a term limit. These people appointed bureaucrats, people in positions that get entrenched into that deep state, their lifetime. And
So
that's a
you
problem.
still, your tentacles are still
Exactly.
active in there, even though you chop the head off, but the
Yep.
body keeps moving or whatever.
100%. And that was like the thing that there's a lot of Obama people in Trump's administration within the deep state there his first time mucking it up. And then they basically said the Biden was the third Obama term, right? It was all Obama people that worked with Biden. So it's kind of, I don't know. I just think it's funny that Trump's making the biggest changes we've ever seen here. And that was his slogan. So it's
Dude, killing
a
it
little
still,
thing.
like it's like doesn't even make news, and he's just still shooting people down.
They can't keep up with them.
Like I don't know when we have this clip, but it's just it doesn't. It's nonstop.
It
I don't know.
is.
The man
The
is
man is
non.
nonstop. All right. You want to see some real lack of common sense, my friend? I would like to introduce you all to Janet Mills, the governor of Maine. Now, she's made it onto the radar for picking a fight with the big man on the block these days, President Trump. Now, you see, a dude just won the high school state pole vaulting championship by calling himself a lady and competing against females in the state of Maine. Well, the honorable governor happens to support this nonsense. And as we all know now and are well aware, the current president signed an executive order telling the rest of the country that Governor Mills should not be supporting this nonsense anymore, at least if she wants any help from the federal government. Now, the other day, Trump decided to tell the governor how he felt about her when he hosted an event that had every governor in the country there in one room. And the exchange went a little something like this. Juice?
Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good, I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics. Every state has a responsibility to comply with Title IX. They have an obligation, a legal obligation. and we'll be enforcing aggressively, and we're going to be protecting our citizens. We're going to protect.
Oh, A plus, right?
When that cameraman like zooms out to be like, dude, this bloodbath is happening in this quaint little meeting room where they're having the salads are being delivered. He's like, well, you better
You better do it.
We are the federal government. Well, that's us. He's like, see you
that's my
record. This will
favorite
be
line.
an easy one, and good luck with your career.
Yes. So good. So good. But how great is that line? She's like, I will comply with state and federal law. Well, great, because we are the federal
So
law.
good. This will be easy. Like, right?
Please, you're wasting everyone's time.
Yep.
He's
you
like,
better do it.
Oh, you better. Like, and then, right, that cameraman, like, it seems like planned.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and he's like,
He's
oh,
like,
he's
oh,
doing,
it's
like,
about
you know,
to
it
pop
pans.
off.
Yeah, it's like, hey, chat, he's doing that to this in a room with,
yeah.
like, zoom out, because it looked, that could have been a big arena or whatever,
Oh,
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you better.
Exactly.
And people, silverware's like dropping on the plates.
Yeah.
You know, someone, when Walsh drops that plate in the movie, like, right? Nazi white people, we need less of that or whatever, you know?
Yeah,
and
he just
he's like, oh, sorry.
Oh, my bad. Oh, it's phenomenal. And I love it too. Trump just can't help himself either. Always has to get the last word in, right? But like, and good luck with your career afterwards either, because you won't be in elected politics much longer.
Yeah, we'll meet you in court. Yeah, this will be an easy one. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he has to throw in like, oh, even though you're in a liberal state, a little bit liberal, although I did very well there.
Yeah, the numbers didn't all go down ballot, but
yeah, exactly.
I performed pretty well.
So
I don't beautiful state.
Beautiful,
but
great, beautiful state. They don't want men and female sports. Believe me.
You better, because we're the branch. Frankly, I am that
Frankly,
branch.
your career's over.
You're done. You ever see this girl? This girl bailing out loud on Bravo. She has like Tourette's, whatever. You're done. Wind it up.
Oh, I heard about her. Yeah. I think I saw a commercial once with her trying to go to the airport or something.
And she's like, tap that wiener.
Yeah. Got a gun. Yeah.
Like, you're done. You're done.
You're done. That's her
that's one of her made.
Oh, I like it.
And wind it up.
Wind it up. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
all right, Juice.
Balin.
There you go. One of Juice's girls, Balin. How about we keep this common sense train going with the world's favorite press secretary, Miss Caroline Leavitt. She is just great. Awesome so far. Love the change of breath. If that's a thing, I don't know. Different voice, change of breath.
That's like chewing a piece of gum, right?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe her breath smells good.
It's like a polite way of it's a polite way of telling somebody like their breath's bad. Wouldn't hurt to have a change of breath. Got a change of breath in over here.
That's incredible. Oh boy,
a breath of fresh air.
A breath of fresh air. There we go. That's why you're my right hand man over there,
I'd
buddy.
like to solve. You know. You seen those where they can't get it by like one
breath of fresh air for 1,000, please. Oh, it's good stuff. Okay, now this is another move that Team Trump is doing that seems like one of those smaller things, but to me feels like it makes a big statement, and it has to do with this whole Gulf of America thing. Now, the gist of the story is that the White House booted out the reporter from the AP, Associated Press, for during press conferences that were going to be held in the Oval Office and on Air Force One, or more appropriately termed press gaggles, right, Juice? A gaggle of the press. They're not letting the AP into the Oval Office, the more intimate setting of the Oval Office, or the Air Force One settings, because the AP refuses to acknowledge the reality that it's not the Gulf of Mexico anymore. Now, sure, this seems like it might be a little bit petty, but it hopefully proves a point and sends a message to the fake news media that we are done, and the Trump administration is done with their BS, and it will not be tolerated any longer. Listen,
misinformation.
Exactly.
Use a czar.
Exactly. It's insane. And I have a little more to add. I want to get to the clip first, and I'll elaborate a little bit on a point because I'm a little bit of a contradiction to this rule here, but I also don't carry the badge of an Associated Press reporter that just by very nature of being called an AP reporter lends you or should lend you a bit of credibility. So that's going to be where a difference is here. But before we get there, why don't we go to the press secretary and hear what she had to say about this whole situation, Juice?
Which White House official made the decision to bar the AP reporter from the Oval Office and the diplomatic reception room last night?
Well, first of all, let me just set the record straight. It is a privilege to cover this White House. It's a privilege to be the White House press secretary. And nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given. And there are hundreds of outlets on this campus. Many of you in this room who don't have the privilege of being part of that pool every single day and getting to ask the President questions. We reserve the right to decide who gets to go into the Oval Office, and you all have credentials to be here, including the Associated Press, who is in this briefing room today.
But isn't it retaliatory in nature is the argument, because the reason that the AP was barred, which they said was because they're not using the phrase Gulf of America, they're using Gulf of Mexico in line with their standards. And so the question here is this setting a precedent that this White House will retaliate against reporters who don't use the language that you guys believe reporters should use? And how does that align with the First Amendment commitment that you were just talking about?
I was very upfront in my briefing on day one that if we feel that there are lies being pushed by outlets in this room, we are going to hold those lies accountable. And it is a fact that the body of water off the coast of Louisiana is called the Gulf of America. And I'm not sure why news outlets don't want to call it that, but that is what it is. The Secretary of Interior has made that the official designation in the Geographical Identification Name Server. And Apple has recognized that. Google has recognized that. Pretty much every other outlet in this room has recognized that body of water as the Gulf of America. And it's very important to this administration that we get that right, not just for people here at home, but also for the rest of the world. Sure.
Now, Juice, I love the point about it being a privilege and not a right.
Yeah, you don't have credit. You can't run in there, right?
No, not at all. Not allowed. Can't say, oh, right and wrong media here.
Yeah.
Trying to report, and ask a question to the president.
Dude, they said there was a lot of talk about, oh, we setting a precedent here or whatever, about, trying to control the flow of media or whatever, free speech and all this stuff. Like they set a precedent when their president wouldn't take any questions. Like, oh, we can just do whatever and you don't have to do any questions.
Exactly.
Like, what does it matter who's in the room where it happens if there's no questions to be answered?
Exactly. We'll never find out how the sausage gets made.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but you're 100% right. And that I'm glad you kind of went down that road, because that's where I'm thinking about this is like, I love the fact that that's why they're doing it. And that's kind of the stance they're taking, but that doesn't mean that that's just a catch-all, paint by numbers, like one size fits all on this type of thing, because, the left-leaning people, I forget the name of it, but they changed the name of like Mount McKinley to like some Indian something name.
The Squamish.
Something ridiculous like that. And Trump changed it back to Mount McKinley. Like, and you better believe I wouldn't be referring to it as that nonsense name that it was like either. I run a football pool and I still refer to the Washington Redskins as the Washington Redskins, not the Commanders. So just because the name is changed doesn't mean that like you should have to fall in line with that. But
yeah, but you don't have the right to automatically go in there, get your questions answered, and then go report it how you choose to.
Exactly.
Like, I can say it how I want to, but I don't have to have, you know what I mean? Doesn't mean you have to be in my room while I say it.
A select number of people have access to that opportunity to be in that room. And if you're just going to outright lie and be blatant, like factually wrong to your readers and your listeners, then that's on you. If I was writing a football blog every week and referring to them as the Redskins and you wanted to listen to me and read my stuff, great. But if I got an opportunity to ask Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, a question, I don't think he would take me serious, answer me, or allow me into that room to ask him a question if I said, "Hey, what's up with the quarterback?" You know,
For the Redskins,
on the
yeah.
Redskins right now. He'd be like, "What?" Like, and that would be his right. That's his.
Yeah, and you'd take your
like,
medicine and be like, "Yeah, I knew I was gonna get if I took that shot to
keep
get."
poking.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
And
they're
you're
gonna
like,
ban you,
you know what
and
you're
when you get
doing.
banned, you don't go cry it, like, it's
Exactly.
just like,
If you
"Okay,
want
I
to,
knew
you
that was
want to
gonna
dig your
happen."
heels in on this issue, and then reap what you sow.
Consequences, yeah, there's consequences.
Exactly. And I do remember, I think we played it, you know, a few weeks back. I remember when Levitt said that in one of our opening remarks to the press about how they're going to hold the media accountable, and they're going to, you know, it's a new sheriff in town, for lack of a better word. They've
'Cause you
already
definitely
opened,
people in that room still that are on both sides of the media.
of
You know what
course.
I mean? Like, it's like they didn't get, like, kicked out necessarily for being
Yeah.
biased, 'cause there's people
Yeah.
on both sides of the
Mhm,
aisle reporting in that room.
mhm.
It's like,
Well,
"Dude,
and
you blatantly are doing something, so we're revoking yours," but it doesn't mean, like,
exactly,
CNN never gets to go in there or
exactly. That was
whatever. It's like,
CNN asking
it's
the
this
question.
AP reporter, right?
Yeah. Well, and it is a bigger issue because of who it is. It's the Associated Press. It's the one that's funded by taxpayer dollars. It's the one that's supposed to be the complete neutral, no slant to it at all, because this is funded by us. Like, you know, CNN, they clearly have a slant. They lie about it and don't tell you that, but they're allowed to. They're their own entity.
The
The Daily
cable news
Wire has a
network
slant.
versus, yeah,
Fox
the
has a slant,
Associated,
right?
yeah.
That's okay.
But
The
dude, how come
EP,
NPR is funded by they
exactly.
have a
It's
slant?
like those people are supposed to be like the
Speaking truth to
standard
power,
bearer.
as they say, like,
Yes, and they hold these like journalistic guidelines that other people adopt based on what the AP deems.
what
Like
about Reuters? Who are those guys? Are they
I
the
don't know. I think they're the guys who do the toilets and stuff.
oh,
Like
that's Roto-Rooters. No, but yeah.
um no, but like that, so the AP, like they have made it a clear choice to refer to um you know, the wrong genders of people that decide to do the trans nonsense. They blatantly lie to their people. It makes a story completely confusing when you try to read it in their newspaper, or in their on their website, whatever. They make choices like that. They refer to, they won't say illegal alien. They, you know, barred that language from their reporting, and they call them undocumented Americans. That's the way they write. I made a reference earlier at the beginning of the show about the capital W and capital B in the words white and black. When they say black, they capitalize the letter B in the AP, and they keep the letter W lowercase. If they were saying two white guys that do a podcast, Juice and Ruka, they would be lowercase. But if we were black, they'd say two black guys, capital B.
I don't know where
That's insulting. That's
I don't know
ridiculous.
where I read this, but it's a good point and kind of on topic, but not exactly where we're going. But like, it's, about, like, if somebody changes their name, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like a guy, like, you could, names or whatever. Some people have like dudes are named Ashley.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Or
you
like
know what I mean?
Henry Rogers, who changed his name to Abram X Kendi so that he could race
Yeah,
hustle
yeah,
and
and
win a lot of
whatever,
money.
and that's fine, and you should be able to change your name.
Yeah.
But, like, and, like, how they changed the name from Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. But,
Mhm.
like, with the pronouns thing, like, you can't change that. They were saying, like, whatever the quote was saying, like, okay, they didn't change it to a desert, like, it's still, like, a body of water,
True.
you
Good
know what I
point.
mean? Like,
Good point.
changing the like, it's
Yeah,
still the
yeah, yeah.
Gulf of America, Gulf of Mexico,
Yep. That's a
and the
great point.
name changed, but the,
The essence of what
descriptor,
it
yeah,
is.
the descriptor, 'cause, like, no
Yeah.
one said you can't change your name. It was like,
Yep.
if you introduce yourself, "Hey, my name is so and so." I don't care,
Yeah.
I'll call you that. But, like, if you
Exactly.
we're not doing the pronoun games with,
Exactly.
playing that. Whatever you
Yep.
seem to look like, we're gonna use that.
Yep. 100%. 100%. And it's a great point. Awesome. All right. Now, before we move on, Juice, I think we're nice and tight. We're doing good. I'll take this opportunity to remind you guys to please subscribe to our channel here. You know, we're on YouTube, we're on Rumble, we're on Apple and Spotify. we really need your help and need your support. Share it with a friend, let them know. I'd also like to remind you guys to please go out and buy the phenomenal children's book out there called The Robin, written by the beautiful, wonderful Ashley Ruka. I guess she's my wife, and that's not the only reason why I'm
her
trying to hawk the book. She, her. It's a good story. It's great if anybody that's going through loss. And I touched on this at the beginning of the show with the opening comments there about noticing God's signs when He sends them to
was
you.
this whole episode an ad?
Like it was just an ad read, Juice. It's all part of the. Yeah, great call. So you can find The Robin on Amazon or on Dorrance website, Dorrance Publishing, and buy a copy. Read it to your kids. If anybody's lost a grandmother, grandfather, anybody close in their family, it's a great book. Definitely.
Yeah, hope you don't need it, but you're gonna need it at some point.
Yeah, and it's still good for an adult too. Like it's nice. So check it out. All right, Juice, you selling anything over there?
No, I'm just trying to get back into the swing of things here. Loosen
boy.
up. I didn't realize.
All right.
I feel like I should get paid extra on the side for I don't know. I guess I called it out, so never mind.
Okay.
Yeah. So much for the tight. I'm rambling here a bit. So
all right, let's bring this home. You want to bring it home?
I'd love
to. All right. This is the Come On Man segment of the day. We've created this one right at the beginning of the show. From day one, this thing's been in effect. And it is when we find a clip of somebody doing something, saying something so absurd, so ridiculous, that even though we're going to make fun of them here for a couple of minutes, there's not much else we could say to them except,
Oh, man.
Exactly. Well said from our former president, Joe Biden there. That was one of his famous catchphrases, and we thank him for that.
It's like a sitcom.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
No, like the fact that you call it catchphrases.
Right?
Isn't that usually like a character has a catchphrase?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Uncle Jesse, have mercy. Right?
Like President Stone. Yeah.
Yeah. Presidents really should. Well, Donald Trump has one. You're fired. Right?
You're done.
Yeah,
that's Balin. She has one.
Yeah, see, they all got catchphrases, Juice.
Wind it up.
All over the place. All right, so this one comes from the home state here, Massachusetts. Now, you may or may not have already heard about this. It was in Worcester at a city council meeting where they were deciding to declare themselves a trans sanctuary city, whatever the hell that means, Juice. Now, we were able to grab this video. It was taken, to show and to spread the message of some very serious, very sane, and very normal people who spoke eloquently and bravely in front of their council to advocate for some trans protection out there, Juice. So I think we broke it down into 2 clips, right? If you want to maybe give us the first one so we know what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, hit the first one and then see what we can do on the last one.
All right.
Here you go.
The city to protect me because the federal government won't. And if you think you're afraid of Trump, you should see how afraid of Trump I am.
Can you wrap up, please?
Yes, I can. If you say that you're afraid of Trump and that's why you don't want the city to be a safe space for trans people, you better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
I'm shaking right now. I don't want to be here.
Up,
I'm sorry, am I taking too long pleading for my life?
You remembered how many children I have and that 2 of them are trans.
I speak as both the B and the T in the LGBT.
I'm multiply disabled. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder that causes me immense physical pain. I'm on the autism spectrum, and I have narcolepsy, and I couldn't drive myself here, so I had to hide from my driver that I was in drag, which is not an easy thing to do in drag.
I do not want to be here. It's my day off. I do not want to be in your DMs. I do not want to be in your email inboxes. I do not want my creativity writing diss tracks like Kendrick. I don't want to spend an hour applying glitter on my face so that you will hear and see me. I want you to listen to me.
Let us remember that the Nazis burned the books the Nazis burned books on gender sciences first. Now the administration has villainized and marginalized migrant workers, trans, LGBT people, and even special needs, denying life-saving and affirming care.
Can you look at me and tell me how many of my friends need to die before you do anything?
Please wrap up.
Look at me!
Okay, we're all done here.
Fucking...
Wow.
You're done. You're done.
Look at me. I'm a beautiful woman juice.
Dude, that, like, if nothing, like, no montage that we're gonna produce or whatever is gonna make people see that these people need help, and you know what I mean? Like, us making fun of it or isn't that enough to, like, watch that compilation? Like, why are you promoting this or affirming it? Like, these people are serious.
They're
like, sick.
clearly something wrong with them.
Like, I'm on the spectrum. Oh, you don't say. Like,
You don't say. Dude, they had that fat guy. I don't even know what he was there. He's not an
doing
L, a B, a T,
issues
or a T,
for,
but he can't read his own notes.
I know he's doing a disservice for bald guys in black hoodies everywhere.
He's like, what?
Nazis burned books. You know,
they did the thing, the bit with the books and
burning.
the G with the Q and the B and the today, Junior.
And then, like, the dude's like, Grimace, wrap it up.
Yeah,
like that guy. Like, I know
that
they
guy
were
was
cutting
good.
to it. Like, they probably gave them the whatever you get. You know, you've done one
Yeah.
of those. Where you get your minutes or whatever. Give
Yeah,
you
yeah,
your
exactly. You
seconds
get, like, a
back if you get
2-minute thing.
interrupted. But they were going to him. He was just like, okay, wrap it up.
All right, we done here?
Oh, am I taking up too much time, or is my
Too much of your time.
is me pleading for my life? Like,
Oh,
no,
my
like,
goodness.
moral of that whole clip is, like, we need to help these people. Not us make fun of them isn't necessarily helping, and definitely what's not helping is the people saying, "Oh, you're right. You need to be affirmed in this. We need to
100%.
both meet in the middle and help these
Like,
people."
let's do something serious about this. Like, because
Yeah.
these clearly are not serious people. Like,
Yeah.
they're definitely mentally
Have-
unstable. Like,
Yeah.
the one chick they're saying, "Oh, if you don't protect us, wait till you see what we do to this city." Like, that's an outward
That's a
threat.
threat,
Like,
yeah.
you want to talk about riling up a mob of people, and thankfully they're not going to be able to organize. They're not going to be able to all do it together. She's going to be like, "Oh, well, you know, my
You
celiac
saw what
disease
happened
is
at
kicking in.
that,
I'm on the can right now." Like,
shooting these up, remember?
yeah, like
when
they're
they-
not going to be able
point
to
of
do
personal
anything.
privilege if they try.
The other one, the one who was dressed with, like, as an extra in The Lion King on Broadway, there is going to be like, "Oh, it's not my off day today. Gotta go in.
The glitter,
Sorry."
the glitter. Don't want to
Yeah.
be sliding into your DMs or writing
No.
rap disses like Kendrick.
Like,
Like,
nope,
that was
nope.
and then
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry.
Want to hit a little bit more?
Yeah, let's get a little. What
'Cause
else
it's
you got?
funny. The end of that one, I wish I did it because it's the lady who's like, you know, we got a lot of kids in my classroom that will just, like she says,
Yeah.
something pretty witty or something, right? We'll roll up
Okay.
on you.
Okay.
But I don't know if I have that in the beginning of this one.
My name in drag is Dee Dee Delight. And my name out of drag is Dewey Cosgrove Atienza.
Laddie LaRouge, he, they, in drag, District 3.
My legal name is Olivia D'Ambrosio. My public name is Livy Scanlon. My wife and I own a home in the Canal District.
I speak as someone who is always misgendered, like, all the time. People refer to me as sir when I prefer to be referred to as ma'am. I speak as...
Like, dude, there's not the sky is all there. Like, what are we doing?
Dude, that's Buffalo Bill.
I know.
That's
It puts the
literally
lotion on its skin.
Yes. Like, he's gonna sit there and be like, look at himself. I'd F me.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like,
I get misgendered all the time.
oh, I'm only 6'5" here, like, with broad shoulders and a giant Adam's apple.
All he
leaning
did was
down
put
to
on
talk-
lipstick. Didn't even. He has a beanie on.
Yes.
He kind of looks like Yes, exactly. Buffalo
making
Bill. And
no effort.
it looks like the guy from Dumb and Dumber playing Buffalo Bill. You know, what's that guy's name?
Yeah, Jeff Daniels.
Yeah, playing Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, it's like
but it's like,
got long
let's
hair.
how, like, I know we keep making fun of it and all that, but like, dude, how can the other side be like, woo, like getting pumped up for these people speaking up and being the face of your whatever,
your movement.
being the face, yeah, exactly, right, and not realize that, okay, these people need.
It's crazy. And
someone
the
to step
sad
in
thing
here.
is they're going to look at us and be like, oh, we're jerks. We're mean. We're bullies. Like, why can't we just, who cares what they do? Let them just do their own thing. Let them be. Why are you going to do like, and that's the approach they're going to say, the people that oppose us, that's the way they're going to come at it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, it does matter, because I don't want my daughter walking into a bathroom in public with that Buffalo Bill dude going in there at the same time as her. And I don't want to have to be subjected to looking at that, to dealing with that in my day-to-day life. We shouldn't have to. It's the same reason why we shouldn't have to walk past tents of homeless people, just walking down the street. Like,
that's
we
reason
live in a
number
public
one.
setting here.
That's reason number one. And reason number two is like, it's the more humane thing to do is to call it out instead of affirm it. If I was off my rocker like that, like, I hope we'd be like, hey, try to help somebody instead of just being like, yeah, you're right. Like you've said it probably once, you said it a million times. The person who's anorexic doesn't go in and get prescribed a diet pill at a clinic, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So why are we doing this here?
Exactly. It's cruel, and it's basically just burying your head in the sand, because it's hard to deal with. It's not
making
nice.
fun might not be the answer, but it is the more humane thing than affirming.
Of course. Exactly. So with all that being said, Juice, I think it's safe to say that all these lunatics that went to voice their support and opinion about their trans rights to the city council in Worcester have all earned themselves one big.
And all the people who, hold on. And I'm hitting this many times, but all the people who stand behind them, and tell them to get up in front of there.
Exactly.
Instead of
encourage them, promote them.
They more so have earned.
Yes.
The
one
come
big,
on.
Fat
classic.
Come on, man.
And
absolutely. Is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. Please don't forget to subscribe to the show here on the YouTube page. That's the main focus. We do post the stuff on Rumble as well. Apple and Spotify, it's available. But, please, if you like it, give a thumbs up to the show. That stuff helps. And share it to a friend. Send it to a buddy. Send it to just one person. That helps. Let's try and double up on the viewership if we can. All right, Juice, anything else?
No,
let's get to 10 views.
No, just thanks for having me. That's all.
Thank you for having me as well. And everybody else out there, thanks for having us.
Exactly. Okay. See you on the other side.
All right. Good stuff.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa. Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.